Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to hand over shortly to the main man, Richard, but I'm just facilitating purely to allow Richard to run through the awards without having to focus on the technology side of things. So I'm Mark Gaffney. I'm from Scottish Disability Sport, and I've been the kind of liaison officer for the last 7 years for Disability Sport Fife. It's been my distinct honour and privilege. So a lot of familiar faces I'm seeing there. And a big thank you to everyone for joining us this evening. In the less familiar surroundings, normally we get the chance to come together and celebrate with each other in the one room, but virtual is doing a lot of good work as well. So we're glad that you were all able to join us. But so for the purposes of the meeting, if you were all able to, and to allow Richard the chance to run through the presentation, if you were all able to just mute your microphones for the duration, that would be fantastic. And there will be an opportunity at the end for everyone to give all the award winners a massive round of applause. So everything will go nice and smoothly if everybody's on mute, and then Richard can run through all the slides and the award winners as they come up. And many thanks again for joining us. So
you guys are members on the police website.
Okay. Fine. All mics mute, please. And then there will be no interference. Mark, can you mute, or Caroline, can you mute?
Yeah, I can mute.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks very much for giving up your evening for our annual awards. We have over 80 people now registered for this evening. Not 80 have joined yet, so they'll be coming in at different stages. So thanks very much to all of you for joining us. Thanks to Mark, whom you've met. Caroline's in the background, and she's done a lot of work behind the scenes to get us to this stage. And of course, my colleague Norma, who has been involved in the awards as well. So thanks very much for their help. There'll be an opportunity, we'll unmute the mics and you can give a very big, large round of applause to everybody at the very end, rather than after each presentation. The trophies can be collected from the office once lockdown is finished, and I apologise for that we can't hand over trophies on the night. And without any more ado, I can't ask if there's any questions for anybody, but without any more ado, we'll bash on. First of all, beginning of the awards, I always say a big thank you to our volunteers throughout the year. That's just a sample on the screen. Our bowling officials who help us and run our very, very successful bowling programme. We have volunteers of all ages. We have a tremendous athlete force operating all levels of ability, athletes with physical, sensory, learning disabilities from all over Fife. The bedrock of our organisation are our weekly sessions, and we thank all the coaches, the volunteers who are responsible for ensuring that they function week after week. We've an enormous number of partners. Some of them are listed there on the screen. We are beholden to Fife Sports and Leisure Trust and Fife Council, who are main partners. Of course, we've a new partner in Robertson Trust who helped to fund our part-time administrator, full-time administrator to be post, and that's the Robertson Trust who've taken on board. And of course our parent body, Scottish Disability Sport, that Mark works for. Some of the other organisations that are very kind to us, for example, STV Children's Appeal, the Celtic Foundation, Rotary, a big supporter of us and have been for 40 years, Scottish FA and Scottish Athletics among the governing bodies that support us, and of course Active Fife, Trefoil, another organisation. For the past 3 years we've benefited from the GOGA programme supported by Spirit of 2012 and the St John Order that have been with us for many, many years. So we're very indebted to those supporters. We now have 6,000 followers and 6,000 likes, so if you haven't liked us and you haven't clicked the tick, please do so, because our target now is 7,000. We want to reach 7,000 much quicker than we reach 6,000, so help us to reach that 7,000 target. And for every article that we put up, there's nearly 2,000 people read it, so it's a good way of getting messages out there and celebrating the great work that goes on in the organisation. We are very proud of our high performance athletes. These 5 individuals on the screen at the moment are in the Scottish Disability Sport Hall of Fame. Paul Noble, our chairman, on the right-hand side of the screen, and Andrew Lindsay in the bottom part of the screen there. They are also in the Scottish Swimming Hall of Fame. And then Caroline Baird, MBE, and Colin Kay were admitted to the Scottish Athletics Hall of Fame last year only. So these 5 individuals are the 5 individuals that have reached the very highest level in terms of Halls of Fame. This group of individuals, this motley crew that you see now, are the individuals who are members of the Disability Sport Hall of Fame. There's 17 of them in total, the vast majority of whom have won at least a silver medal at Paralympic level. There's a few exceptions to that, but the vast majority are silver medalists, which is quite an illustrious group of individuals indeed. We are going to admit one other person this evening, but more about that person as the evening goes on. But these high performance individuals have all started at the level that many of our athletes are at the moment, and have gone to the very highest level in international sport. We are proud of the fact we have 25 Paralympians. The last 3 were admitted in the bottom right-hand corner: Derek Ray, Alison Patrick, who's Alison Peasgood now, and Kieran Steer were our most recent Paralympians, and they went to Rio to the last games. And who knows, we hope that there will be somebody going to Tokyo, and that will mean that we've had representation at Paralympic Games every year since 1980, which is quite the record and something we're very proud of. Our board of charity trustees, if you don't know who they are, and in fact they're on the screen at the moment. That's Caroline there on the left hand side, and Pamela, who are well known. Caroline, who is from Health and Social Care. Pamela was with Education Services, and Pamela is now with Scottish Athletics, and very much a right arm to us in the office. Our treasurer was our chairman before, and that's Paul Noble, MBE. Does an immense amount of work, particularly in the financial area within our organisation. And our safeguarding officer is Maureen McSeveny, and Maureen is from Health and Social Care, and as myself in the middle there as the chairman. Another of our right arms is Gail Sloan there, and of course Norma in the bottom right hand corner. Debbie Mills, on this occasion representing Fife Sports and Leisure Trust staff, an immense amount of them who help us. Our first presentation of the evening straight away, and it was done with a tinge of sadness, I have to say, because the lady on the screen there, who's Margaret Pullar, was the wife of Bill Pullar, who was the architect of the Fife Sports Institute. Is where our organisation was at one time and where our organisation was funded. And a couple of weeks ago, Margaret sadly passed away, but she has been an enormous supporter of our organisation for many, many years. Her and Bill, before he passed away, took a great interest in our organisation, and she turned up at every annual general meeting to present the bursary whenever she could. And this is a group of bursary winners in the past. But I'm delighted to announce that our bursary winner of this year, the Bill Pullar bursary winner, is Cameron Hemphill from Carnegie Swimming Club. Now, Cameron had another wonderful year. He's done extremely well. He's progressed not necessarily in relation to times, but he has progressed as an all-round athlete. His strength and conditioning programme is delivered by Stuart Bursary at Fife Sports and Leisure Trust, and of course he's coached at Carnegie. But he's a tremendous ambassador for a movement. He's a young ambassador for Scottish swimming. He has had a number of swimming clubs. He's moved with swimming clubs for a variety of different reasons, either because coaches have moved on or for progression, but he's now firmly entrenched within the Carnegie setup, and he has progressed considerably with support from the Carnegie Club. So our first presentation of the evening, and it's a bursary of £250, and it goes to Cameron Hemphill. So that's a wee bit of silent applause you can have there, or a thumbs up in the air. Our next series of bursaries goes to a number of our young athletes. Now, it's extremely tough to identify the top young athletes. There were many, many, many in contention, same as last year, and that's a lovely position to be in. But we decided that the following young athletes, they are credit to our movement. They've made great progress in the last year, and they will benefit from a £100 bursary from our STV Children's Appeal money. And they're Katie Pake from swimming, who's a member of Carnegie Swimming Club. She's also a wheelchair racer, and she is coached by Pamela Robson in terms of wheelchair racing, but coached by Stephen Hogan at Carnegie Swimming Club. Cameron Adam, who's made tremendous progress in the past year, and last year went down to the British Championships for athletes with cerebral palsy, and he's coached by Steve Doig, and he's a member of Fife Athletic Club. Finlay Davidson, a tremendous all-rounder, a young man that has made enormous progress in a variety of different activities, including badminton, including his athletics program, and so he's another worthy winner. Our absolute newcomer is a young lady who has got immense talent, and club-wise, we've not quite settled her yet. She's still attending DSF sessions, but hoping to join one of our mainstream clubs soon. And it's young Zoe McNulty, and she's excelling in swimming and athletics on a minimum amount of coaching and teaching today, but a tremendous prospect for the future. Young man who has had an exceptional year is Tyler McClelland. And we have had one international boccia player, and that's Kieran Steer. And Tyler is following in his footsteps. Tyler made the Scottish squad last year, went down, was selected for a Scottish team that went down south, and he came back with a silver medal. So made tremendous progress, and he is the 5th of our award winners. The final award winner is a young athlete who's got similarly immense talent. She's also an exceptionally good footballer, and that's Christina Murray. So we have 6 youngsters who are all tremendous prospects for the future, and the association has decided to present them with an STV Children's Appeal Bursary for 2020. Silent applause. That's silent applause. Okay, and as we move on, now the 2 awards that are next to be spoken about are awards that have been within our programme for many, many years. They are the Access Awards, and yes, they were sponsored in the early days by Access Your Flexible Friend, which is now MasterCard. So the 2 Access Awards, our Access Awards started back in, 1985? And the first winner was a chap called Robert McMahon, who's still very much involved in our programme. They're presented to non-high performance athletes, and Wade Moreland and Ryan Peterson were our athlete winners last year. Our winners this year, the names are at the top: Eric Boyle from Scottish Autism, and Emma Mason from West Fife Community Support Services. Just a little bit about each of them. Eric, in the nomination form that came in from his sponsors, he has made enormous progress by attending Thursday morning multi-sports and the run, jump and throws at Petrivi on a Tuesday. Some of his achievements have been quite remarkable. He was, for health reasons, was told he couldn't run, so he had to learn to walk really. And to learn to walk is quite difficult for somebody who ran everywhere beforehand. But he's a tremendous discipline, and he's now an excellent walker. He's mastered the art of standing long jump, and there's a great story told to me by his support staff, and it's all about standing still and jumping into a mat in the long jump pit. And his support workers and family were with him in a fish and chip shop one night, and he saw the marks on the floor on the mats, and Eric demonstrated his standing long jump skills by jumping from mat to mat. And it's the discipline that is associated with that for somebody who's on the autism spectrum, which is very challenging, but Eric has in fact mastered extremely well, and his family are so enormously proud of him. One of the other things I would like to say is about Eric. It's about the discipline. It's about taking turns. It's about supporting his colleagues. But he's been an unbelievably enthusiastic member of the Scottish Autism group of athletes that are part of the Fife team. So our first Access Award winner is Eric Boyle. Our second winner from West Fife Community Support Services is Emma Mason. Now, Emma has been exceptional, particularly in the sport of badminton, but she's involved with West Fife in lots of different activities in swimming, athletics, and so on. She is never without a smile. She is always supporting her colleagues that have maybe less movement than in fact she has. She's never down. She's always up. And according to her staff, she just raises the spirits of all the groups of people that she actually works with. So yet again, another very worthy winner. This is an incredibly competitive category, this, but we're certain that the two winners of the award this year are they merit the award, most definitely. So a bit of silent applause for Eric Boyle and Emma Mason, our most recent Access Award winners. As we move on, the Swimmer of the Year. Now, in terms of swimming, first presented way back in 1996, and it's been won by all our great Paralympic swimmers at some time. In fact, Craig Rodgie won the award 6 times, and this year's recipient has already won it 4 times. There is absolutely no doubt that this young man is Fife's leading para swimmer at this present time. Ollie started swimming at Cooper and District Swimming Club. He finished his career in Fife at Carnegie Swimming Club, and he now swims at the University of Stirling, and he's part of the national squad setup. Throughout his career, he's been chasing Paul Lobel's records, and but Paul tells me he hasn't got them all yet, but he is systematically chipped away at the many records, but he's a British S10 right up there with the very best. During lockdown, I was able to share some of his training regime. He's got a fantastic training regime. He does a lot of martial arts stuff, as well as a lot of kettlebell movement, etc. So his strength and conditioning program when he was in Fife, once again, was managed by Stuart Bursary of Fife Sports and Leisure Trust. And he really has evolved as an enormously talented swimmer and a very strong young man. But he competes in one of the most competitive categories in the swimming program, and he is ranked in the top 3 in GB at this particular time. I think the last thing I checked at all these times, I mean, he's down round about 57 seconds for 100 meters freestyle. So he's an impressive unit, is Ollie Carter. Worked very hard. Just something very to mention about his devoted mother, who used to drive him to the other end of Fife first thing in the morning for training, and while other members of the family had breakfast and all kinds of, an enormous commitment by this family to ensure that Ollie is given every opportunity to reach the top and reach the top he actually has. So it's another win for Ollie Carter. Most improved swimmer of the year, we could not separate these 2 young swimmers. They've both had an excellent year. Cameron Hemphill, who I mentioned a short period of time ago in terms of the bursary, without repeating all of his accolades, but a very committed young athlete, a very strong young athlete, very committed to his strength and conditioning program. And some of the images that I have got during lockdown of him cycling through the woods of Ladybank to try and keep his fitness level up, and his little pool in the background with his resistance band. So it's a tremendous commitment to the sport of swimming, and he shares the award with a young lady who in fact has had surgery in the last year or so, but has made fantastic progress following surgery, got herself back almost to where she once was before surgery, but there's much more to come from this young lady. She similarly has parked the swimming pool in the back garden with the resistance bands, and she's also an open water swimmer, and she has been out in open water trying to keep her training up. So we're very proud to announce that the 2 most improved swimmers of the year, and they will share the Woodlands Parents' Cup. It's an award that's presented in the name of Paul Noble MBE, a finer person we could not select. Goes to Kenneth Venter Scott and Cameron Hemphill, and both these swimmers are members of Carnegie Swimming Club. And silent applause again. Well done. As we move to the next major award, you'll not be surprised that the winner of the Athlete of the Year of the award, coached by Ron Morrison and member of Fife Athletic Club, is one of our finest ambassadors. If you were fortunate to tune in and hear his story last week, online, Scottish Disability Sport, are running a series of interviews with high performance athletes, and it was kicked off by this young man. Derek comes from Kirkcaldy, and well, what can we say? The silver medal that he won in the World Championships last year in London in the marathon was very, very special and a high point of his career. He's very involved not only with Fife AC and his coach Ron Morrison, but he's very involved in the Scottish athletics mainstream setup. He was out in Arizona, I think, with the Hawkins brothers, who are up there with the world's best in mainstream marathon running. And he had a trip out to Tokyo last year for a run in preparation for the games that we now know are postponed by 1 year. He's been out to Kenya for the last couple of years for warm weather training, and the progress he has made over the last 10 years has been quite remarkable. There is only one winner of this award. We've got some incredibly talented athletes, but this man is head and shoulders in every respect, among others. He is also a volunteer with Disability Sport 5 and assists when he can, and which is almost every week, at the run, jump and throws. He backs up Pamela Robson at the Michael Wood Sports and Leisure Centre. So Athlete of the Year, yet again, Derek Ray. Now, as we move to the next award, which is the Most Improved Athlete of the Year, and once again, we could not separate two of these fine young men that are on the screen there. Both members of Fife Athletic Club. Sam Fernando on the left is coached by Ron Morrison, and on the right, Owen Miller is coached by Steve Doig. We are indeed very fortunate to have, along with Derek, three incredibly talented middle distance athletes. Sam Fernando's year, well, Sam is a former pupil of Bill Baxter High School in Cooper, where he entered our programme as a cross-country runner, as many of our athletes do. And we recognised very early on that he was a man of incredible talent, and he's blossomed thanks to Fife Athletic Club and the coaches that have managed his programme over the years. His major achievement was being selected for Team Great Britain for the INES Global Games in Brisbane last year, and he took on a programme which is just incredible. He ran 10,000 metres, 5,000 metres and 3,000 metres steeplechase. It was quite a remarkable, and I think he ran his races in 5 days, which is quite a remarkable achievement. Sam got 7th place in the 10,000 metres. His leading event's the steeplechase, and if you've ever tried steeplechase, it's an extremely difficult event. But Sam managed a silver medal in the 3K steeplechase in his first INES Games, and he got a 4th place in the 5,000 metres, which was a remarkable achievement. He trains out at the University of St Andrews, among other places. He's working in Glenrothes at the moment, and I'm told he virtually runs home every evening back to Gateside, where he lives. So our first half of the winning duo is Sam Fernando from Fife AC. And secondly, the other extremely talented man is a former pupil of Woodmill High School in Dunfermline. Owen was admitted to the British Athletics Paralympics Future Academy last year. He's made enormous progress under his coach Steve Doig. Owen was in the running for a place in the GB team for the Paralympic Games in London in 2012, but just missed out. And you know, some may have thought that he had missed his opportunity, but Owen never thought that, and those of us who know him well never thought that for a second. But once he got in the hands of Steve Doig, Steve has brought him on quite dramatically. Owen is now running round about 3:56 for the 1500 metres, 3 minutes 56 seconds, which is impressive running. He's second on the all-time Great Britain ranking list in the T20 classification. And he was 6th out of 14 athletes at WPA World Athletics Championships in Dubai last year. So out of all the leading athletes in the world, he got 6th place, and he came in ahead of the present world record holder in that event. So as you can see, I've told you the story about 3 quite remarkable athletes, and sharing the Most Improved Athlete of the Year award in the name of the late John DeCourcy, Sam Fernando and Owen Miller. Thank you. As we move on, our bowlers of the year are on the screen now. What can we say about these 2 remarkable performances? We've always been incredibly strong in the sport of bowls in Fife, and we've had a lot of para bowlers in the Scottish team that has competed in the World Championships in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, etc. But the young man on the left-hand side is our bowler of the year for the 2nd year. Glenn Livingston had a tremendous career in mainstream bowls. He was living in the west of Fife. Well, he started his bowls actually in Glenrothes when he was a pupil at Rimbleton Primary and then Glenrothes High School. And then progressed. He played at Tans Hall, played in a number of clubs in Fife, and was unbelievably successful in East Fife Indoor, Buckhaven, and so on. He decided to consider para bowls, having been massively impressed by performances of Scots at the Paralympic Games, and what a tremendous move that was, because it was within no time at all. Glenn was in the national squad, in the Scottish team, and was playing in the home nations. But along the way, he picked up the National Lawn Bowls Championship title last year, and then he repeated it, the performance. So in his first 2 years in the event, he won the title, which is a great achievement considering the strength of Scottish bowling. So our leading male bowler of the year and the winner of the McLean Award is Glenn Livingston. And our other winner, our lady winner, is a young lady who's been in our programme for many years. Her major achievement was many years ago in the Special Olympics programme. She started bowling in the west of Fife when she attended the Woodland Centre in Dunfermline. Joined the Headwell Club, where she's been supported all the way along the line by some excellent people, and particularly the Ewing sisters, Claire and Sarah Jane, who have become their bosom buddy with Pamela. And Pamela now plays in the Headwell Fours, which the Headwell Four has been doing extremely well in national mainstream competition. Now, along the way, she's been a prolific Fife champion and a prolific Scottish champion indoor and out. So, as you can see, we have 2 outstanding bowlers as well as outstanding athletes that we've heard before. So, congratulations to Glenn Livingston and Pamela Mitchell. Great stuff. We move on. Now, our junior footballers of the year are these 2 young men on the screen. Not only because of their incredible footballing skills, both of them have scored 14 goals each in our inter-schools sevens football tournament, which because of lockdown was not finished. We played 2 rounds. We didn't manage to get the 3rd round in before lockdown, and it's very close. So all Scottish football was called to halt, including our sevens league. The shutdown actually happened just when we were about to play the final round. But these 2 young men are way ahead of others in terms of the number of goals scored, but they're also incredible ambassadors for their school. Leo Cord from Balwearie High School was the winner of this award last year, but Ryan Baird has had a wonderful season in football this year. We could not separate them, so the award is shared. It's in the name of the Penman family. Leo Cord, Ryan Baird, congratulations. Now, our wheelchair athlete of the year. Now, this is an award that goes back many years. It's in the name of Ian McNabb, It's the Ian McNabb Memorial Trophy. He was a young man who was part of our movement many years ago and was the most talented wheelchair user we've ever come across in Fife. He could balance his wheelchair on one wheel. Honestly, he could. The award winner this year is a very deserving winner, as all previous winners. The award winner is Tyler McClellan. Tyler is a boccia player. He's also a power wheelchair football player. So he's in each of the wheelchairs as we see him there. He, around the invitation boccia meets throughout the year, he had tremendous success. But his crowning glory was, in fact, making the national squad for the first time, and also being picked for the Scottish team to compete down south when he picked up a silver medal. Tyler, we managed, and we managed to persuade the physical education staff at his school, our community high school, to lay a boccia court. So he now has his own boccia court at the community high school, and he's also got another boccia court at the Michael Wood Sports and Leisure Centre. So these two performance courts are for our performance boccia players, and great training facilities for Tyler. But he's taken it a stage further at our community high school, that Tyler runs a little session at the school for other boccia players in the school, less talented than himself. He's a tremendous all-round athlete, this young man, and spends time in the pool whenever he can. So our wheelchair athlete of the year is Tyler McClelland. And some silent applause. The badminton player of the year is an extremely popular member of our movement, and it's the young man on the right-hand side, and he's Robert Anderson. He's a peer mentor volunteer with Disability Sport Fife, and he gives up enormous number of hours of his leisure time in support of others. He's a friend to everybody. But this year, he was top dog in our badminton championships down at Kirkcaldy Leisure Centre. The championships are supported by Fife Sports and Leisure Trust. The picture on the left-hand side, those of you that recognise his brother, Stephen, they're great mates. They've never fallen out in their life, which is quite remarkable. But I think Philip Callender is in the middle, keeping them apart there. So they are two of the nicest men you could ever meet. The cup is in the name of the late John Hick. It was presented by wife Kerry, who is a volunteer with Disability Sport Fife. And our badminton player of the year, Robert Anderson. Well done, Robert. As we move on to our next award. These are Lifetime Achievement Awards. Now, many of you will not know the man on the left-hand side, but he is an exceptional young man. Martin Lee on the left is a deaf swimmer. He competed in 2 Deaf Olympics. I met him when I came to Fife, well, shortly after I came to Fife. His parents were volunteer officials with the Glenrothes Swimming Club and helped out at all our galas. He lived in Cooper for a while, but now lives in Balmullo. He started swimming age 6 at Glenrothes Swimming Club and swam for the city of Dundee when he was 18. He reached his first Deaf Olympics when he was 16 years of age, and he won 2 silvers and 1 bronze medal. In 1989, at his second Deaf Olympics in Christchurch, New Zealand, he won 5 gold medals and 1 bronze medal and set 2 world records. And then in 1993, he went to Bulgaria and he won 1 gold, 1 silver and 1 bronze and set a world record. And a severe knee injury curtailed his career thereafter. We came across one another when I came to Fife, and I always remember that there was a swimathon event and we persuaded Martin to swim in a swimathon to go for the fastest time in UK, and he did. A quite remarkable swimmer. He's now a remarkable coach with the City of Dundee, but also with the British Deaf swim team. He's been a great ambassador for deaf sport, and in particular swimming. Also, as well as getting a Lifetime Achievement Award from Disability Sport Fife, Martin is being admitted into our Hall of Fame because of his exceptional record. So he's the second deaf sports person to be included in our Hall of Fame after Lucy Walcott. So congratulations to Martin for his Lifetime Achievement Award. Our second athlete on the left-hand side is also an exceptional swimmer, ex-Bulweary High School, Tracy Wiscombe. Well, Wiscombe was her maiden name. She came from Burn Island. Her married name is Barbara, and she changed attitudes throughout the world to swimming for athletes with learning disabilities. She was an S14 swimmer at the height of her career. She won 39 medals at Paralympic Games, world records, or European Championships. A quite remarkable achievement. She's Scotland's most successful ever all-round athlete in the S14 or the T20 or whatever class. She trained off the swimming club and was coached by Eddie Campbell, and her finest hour was at the Atlanta Paralympic Games in 1996 when she won 2 gold medals. She won a silver and a bronze again in Sydney in 2000. She moved the sport of swimming for athletes with learning difficulties in an upward direction in one full move. The second athlete to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award, she already is a member of the Disability Sport Fife Hall of Fame, it's Tracy Barber. Congratulations, Tracy. We move on. The Junior Sportsperson of the Year is a hotly contested award. This award was took a long time before us deciding on the recipient that we see in the frame. Very heavily nominated from all various quarters, simply because she's not only an extremely talented young lady, but she's unbelievably charismatic. She lights up the room when she walks in. She's very bubbly, very enthusiastic, great team member, and very popular with her fellow teammates and the coaches that in fact work with her. Katie Strength and Conditioning Programme is managed by Stuart Bursary, and she's a swimmer with Carnegie Swimming Club, and she also cross-trains. Although she will not be competing as a wheelchair racer, she cross-trains in a racing wheelchair, and one of the wee videos that we showed during lockdown was her training on the Kirkcaldy Prom, but she's coached by Pamela Robson, and in most things that Katie does, she's got to be held back, so she's a tough hombre with the coaches. The coaches have got to hold her back because she only knows one direction, and that's 100 miles an hour. She is an extremely talented young athlete, and she's a relative newcomer, I have to say, to our movement, but in a short period of time, the Community High School people has made enormous progress and very highly thought of within the swimming movement. So this year, she is our Junior Sportsperson of the Year. It's presented in the name of Paralympian Aileen Harper, the late Aileen Harper. So well done, Katie Pake. Junior Endeavour Awards. We normally only present 3. Last year we presented a wee bit more, and this year, in fact, we're presenting 6 because there were so many candidates. And what an extremely talented group of young people they in fact are. It's nice to see that we're starting to get some more hearing impaired and deaf athletes into our programme, but still not enough. But the young lady in the top left-hand corner is a tremendous prospect. And if I describe Katie Pake as a real charismatic little character, this young lady is charismatic and full of fun, full of energy, full of enthusiasm, and another young junior in Fife who lights up the room. Always 100 miles an hour, and is extremely popular with her fellow athletes and also the coaches that have the privilege of working with her. So well done to Christina Murray as our first recipient. Our second recipient is another little buzz bomb, and that's Ruby McDonald, who comes from Glenrothes. Member of Glenrothes Swimming Club. She's a very talented swimmer, and she's also a talented athlete as well. Cross-country runner, attends our run, jump and throw session, and another excellent young prospect as a T20 athlete for the future, or as a swimmer. She has a challenge at one day where maybe she'll have to decide which sport she wants to concentrate on for the future. But for the moment, she's a great all-rounder and gets involved in everything she possibly can. Some of her little videos during lockdown were excellent. Next young lady is another young lady. She's coached by Pamela Robson out at Petrevie, and she's made incredible progress as a wheelchair racer. And she's Niamh Curry. And she is the third recipient of our Junior Endeavour Award in the name of Caroline Baird, MBE. We've been looking for some time for a young athlete who will show the promise of some of our other male athletes, and we have it in this young lady. The smile is electric. It just so happens that all our juniors are so enthusiastic, so bubbly, and our coaches love working with them, and Niamh Curry is yet another one. Tremendous progress she's made in the last year, been supported and encouraged by Callum Sloan, who is another of our young junior athletes, and the two of them train regularly together, and Niamh has made great progress in the last year, and she's getting her first Junior Endeavour Award. The fourth athlete to get Junior Endeavour Award is Cameron Adam, young Dunfermline High School pupil who similarly, as I say, went down to the British Championships for athletes with cerebral palsy and made a great impression. We're very proud of what Cameron has achieved under the direction and guidance of Steve Doig, and Steve has brought him on quite tremendously. So a very worthy winner of the Junior Endeavour Award is Cameron Adam. Our fifth recipient is a young man who has made incredible progress in the sport of badminton and had a really fine Fife Championships this year. Owen Carmichael, who comes from Dunfermline High School, is a young man to watch for the future, in amongst a group of our junior athletes who are progressing with every competition. So congratulations to Owen Carmichael. And our final Junior Endeavour Award winner is Finlay Davidson. What can I say about Finlay? Gets involved in everything that comes his way, has made great progress in every activity that's come his way. Badminton and athletics are our main sport. He's already travelled internationally to represent his country, and his family are very much involved in the UK Dwarf Sports Association. But very proud of what Finlay's achieved to date, and another high calibre athletes. There are so many young people vying for rewards in this particular category. It was very difficult to whittle it down to these six, but these six are very worthy winners. Congratulations to all six, and a wee bit of silent applause. Our Senior Endeavour Awards, what a talented group once again. We're presenting 4 awards this year. These young athletes at one time may very well be going for some of the higher awards. Connor Brown on the left-hand side is the country's leading physically impaired karate player. He's had an exceptional year. He's also an extremely talented athlete, both runner, thrower, jumper. He was a very talented footballer, and he was a talented swimmer. He is also a talented rugby player. Connor has cerebral palsy. It doesn't stop him in any way whatsoever. He is very committed to his own conditioning and works harder than most. He is engaged in a full fitness program every day of the week. Our first Senior Endeavour Award winner is Connor Brown. Our second award winner is a young man who, really without a smile, what can we say about Carter Taylor? If you haven't watched our video on our Facebook page of Carter water skiing, you must do it. He's an exceptional water skier. He's also an exceptional athlete now, Steve Doig's been coaching Carter, and under Steve, Carter has progressed enormously. He is now running half marathons, and he hopes to run a marathon, if not this year, maybe next year. He has got all the makings of being a triathlete, undoubtedly, but he's quite exceptional. This ex-Woodmill High School pupil, as Connor Brown is, ex-Woodmill High School pupil, an extremely talented athlete over a range of different sports. To the right, a young woman who we're fiercely proud of. She lives in Edinburgh, but she's a member of Disability Sport Fife and has been for the last 5 years, an all-rounder. She is a bowler, she's an athlete, she's a swimmer, she's represented Fife. Were it not for the fact that we've got so many exceptional international athletes in the higher award, she would be knocking on the door. But she's a very worthy winner of the Endeavour Award because she's an exceptional para-badminton player. She's ranked top 6 in the world and hopes that she might be considered for Tokyo in 2021. She's travelled the world in pursuit of ranking points, a lot of the time at her own expense, or with support from other agencies. We are fiercely proud to have this incredibly warm, welcoming lady as a member of our organisation. She's a tremendous role model and a great ambassador for disability sport. Mary Wilson, congratulations, Mary. And finally, our final Endeavour Award goes to Johnny Brown, GB. Spends his life, I think, in the Michael Wood Sports and Leisure Centre. He's a great all-rounder. His fitness programme is second to none. He started walking on a treadmill, having spent virtually all his life in a wheelchair. And with the help of the gym staff, he's now up on his feet. He's recently, his family purchased a basketball ring for his driveway, and he's been shooting baskets because he's missing basketball training up at the Michael Wood Sports and Leisure Centre. He races up and down his street outside his house in his racing wheelchair. I don't know, he hasn't knocked anybody down yet, and I think he's getting rite of passage because his father is a retired chief. No, that's not the reason. He's not because his father's a retired police inspector. No, but his dad has worked wonders with him. He's a tremendous throws athlete and is a leading F33 throws athlete in Scotland. They're a great team, Dad and Johnny, in terms of the throws. Johnny's coached on the track by Pamela Robson. He is a great all-rounder and a credit to our movement. 4 very, very worthy Endeavour Award winners. Please show your appreciation. Thank you. As we move on. Special Achievement Awards, and these are extra awards that we present. Hey, what can we say about these 4? Jasmine Neal on the left-hand side. When I first met Jazz, she was a shy, retiring young woman. She's still shy, retiring, but she's never without a smile. She is an excellent badminton player, has made great friends. Along with Caitlin de Sousa, they've got a little group together, and they're getting together every Sunday night during lockdown. But they're very much together on a Monday, for the badminton session led by Alex Bird and Lucy Walcott. So Jazz McNeil is getting a Special Achievement Award. The 2 young ladies at the top, Kearney Horn and Pauline Bryson, are winners of the Special Achievement Award. They're great walkers. They've embarked on the Goga walking programme. During lockdown, they've kept as active as they possibly can. They are active members of our swimming programme, of our run, jump and throws, and multi-sports. They're a credit to our movement, and the smiles that you see there are never missing when they come to sessions. So that's Kearney and Pauline. Ryan Devlin is yet another of the long line of West Fife Community Sports Services athletes who have made enormous progress under our coaches, DSF coaches, and with support from West Fife Community Sports Services staff. Nominated for his very positive, smiley approach to everything he actually does. A very worthy winner of the Special Achievement Award is Ryan Devlin. And the final award goes to another West Fife Community Support Services athlete who's made enormous progress, particularly in the sport of swimming, in the last year and is swimming for Fife. And he is, John Sapp said, a delightful young man, as so many of the athletes that are part of our programme in fact are. So we presented 5 Special Achievement Awards, and they go to these 5 young people in the frame. Please show your appreciation. Thank you. Now it's with a tinge of sadness, in fact with great sadness, that I move to the next. This is a posthumous award. We've never presented a posthumous award before, but we wanted to present this because we lost one of our most valued members recently, suddenly and unexpectedly. The staff and the volunteers that work out in the west of Fife had hoped that we might be able to recognise this young man this year, and we recognise him with this posthumous award. If I can read from the citation, Kyle Baxter. We thank him for his dedication, his effort, his commitment and achievement over the years while representing both West Fife and DSF at local and national level. The news of Kyle's death came as a shock to us all. Kyle trained tirelessly week after week, participating in numerous sports including swimming, football, badminton, boccia, carpet bowls, lawn bowls, karate and track and field. Kyle always stepped up his game when competing. Kyle was a most valuable member of West Fife team, and we will be sadly missed. We miss Kyle tremendously, and this posthumous award is but a small gesture on our part to thank Kyle Baxter for his immense contribution to Disability Sport Fife during his very short life. Please show your appreciation for Kyle Baxter. As we move now to our coaches and volunteers, our coach of the year, first time winner, is Steve Doig. Steve coaches Owen Miller, Carter Taylor, a whole range of our athletes, Ryan Spearman, etc. Logan Harley, Christina Murray. I don't know if Christina's managed to get to see Steve yet, but if she's not, she should get there. We'd like to see her get to Fife AC along with our others. But this award has been won by some great people in the past, by Ron Morrison from Fife AC, by Sarah Jane Ewing from Bowes, and by Julie Hogg from Badminton last year. A very worthy award winner this year. After a tremendous career, distance career as a distance athlete, Steve has spent his time coaching one of the very, very dedicated group of coaches from Fife Athletic Club, pure volunteers that are the members of the club, devote hours on end, both in Kirkcaldy and in Dunfermline, to a team of athletes, and has had immense success with some of his athletes. And Steve doesn't differentiate. He's a very inclusive coach. If we have an athlete who shows potential, Steve is delighted to have them in the squad, and he has completely and utterly changed Owen Miller in the last couple of years. The photograph two photographs that you see, Steve is also our liaison between ourselves and Fife AC for our cross-country programme. And all these ladies and gentlemen in the yellow vests are the officials that give up our time to run our cross-country events. And Steve coordinates that programme and coordinates the involvement of the athletes with Fife AC members. So our coach of the year, a very, very worthy winner, is Steve Doig. We have 2 emerging coaches of the year this year. And very briefly, the young lady on the left-hand side, we're immensely proud of young Lucy Walcott, who started as an athlete within our programme. Lucy is deaf and started her career as a non-swimmer with Glenrothes Swimming Club, progressed to Glenrothes, the club as a performance swimmer, before moving to Carnegie Swimming Club, where she became a deaf Olympian and attended a couple of World Championships. She embarked on the Scottish Disability Sport Coach Mentor Programme, became a swimming coach, swimming teacher, and then we were delighted to have her on board as a Disability Sport Fife volunteer, and then as an employed Disability Sport Fife coach. During her time at university doing her first degree, she taught swimming in Stirling, which is quite remarkable when you think about how much you depend on your hearing as a teacher. She's now training to be a physical education teacher. We are immensely proud of the progress that this young woman has in fact made in our movement, and she's the first of our Emerging Coach of the Year winner. She shares the award this year with Bawiri High School teacher Gabby Doig. Gabby is now one of our team managers. She led the Sports Hall team to a national success this year. She's a coach on the pool side at Kirkcaldy Swimming Pool and a coach on the track side at Petrivi Athletic Centre week in, week out. We are delighted to have Gabby on board as one of our lead coaches, and the impact that she's made in our movement since she joined us has been quite significant. So the Emerging Coach of the Year award is shared this year between Lucy Walcott and Gabby Doig, and the award is presented in the name of Anne Swan. Thank you. Move on. Our next award winner, don't know who the person is on the right hand side, but the person on the left is Mo McNeil. We're very proud of the parents who embark on volunteering with our movement and then go on to coaching and give up so much of their time. Mo became involved because Jazz became involved in our programme, and the progress that she has made, first of all as a volunteer and then as a coach, has been quite amazing. She is now a level 1 UKCC boccia coach, and has made an enormous impression in terms of the management and the progress made by our recreational boccia players in the multi-sport session at the Michael Wood Sports and Leisure Centre on a Monday evening. So this special recognition award for this year goes to Mo McNeil, and it's in the name of none other than Adam Morley. As we move on, special recognition awards are made to 3 of our volunteers. We have an incredibly able volunteer force of all ages and of all abilities. Outstanding peer mentor volunteers, etc. We'll hear a wee bit more about that. The young lady on the left-hand side is a senior high school pupil about to head to university, and her name is Emily Gregg. She has supported Pamela Robson for probably about 3 or 4 years now at the run, jump and throw session. She is unbelievably reliable, unbelievably industrious, and it's going to be a great heartbreak at run, jump and throws when she does go to university and we lose her services. But this little token of our appreciation is for years of service, years of commitment by Emily Gregg to run, jump and throws. So she, special recognition, volunteer. Our second volunteer is Andy Matheson from Beveridge Park Bowling Club. One of our key mainstream partner bowling clubs is the Beveridge Park. And over the last, I don't know how many years, Andy has been a volunteer at all our bowls events, either indoor carpet bowls or outdoor. More recently, he's become involved with us as a volunteer, and at our Thursday morning multi-sport session, he delivers a little bowl session along week in, week out, along with our young peer mentor volunteers. It was a bright day when Andy signed up as a volunteer, and we thank him for many hours of commitment in the last few years. Thank you, Andy. And our third special volunteer recognition goes to the charismatic young Ross Cameron. That smile there, it's never missing. He has supported Alex Bird on a Monday night at Multisports. Alex Bird and Lucy Walcott are coaches with his girlfriend Louise, and Ross is a fantastic volunteer. I'm not sure what we could do without him, but he's given up Monday nights probably for about the past 5 years or so. Very committed, very devoted, absolutely adored by the young people that attend multisports and attend badminton session on a Monday evening. So 3 very, very worthy volunteers receiving special recognition. Please show your appreciation. Moving on, says he. Our next award is an award that we are proud to present to our major partner organisation. It's the Fife Sports and Leisure Trust Champion of the Year. Previous award winners have been Kevin McGee, Stuart Bursary, and our 2020 winner is the aquatics manager, Lee Cunningham. Lee came into post 5 years ago, and she transformed our relationship with the swimming programme in Fife. She manages an immense programme. It's a hugely successful programme with a great team of teachers and coaches, and she could not have done more for Disability Sport Fife and our members. Lee was incredibly willing to introduce education and training to her team of support staff. She supported us to increase the number of discrete or separate training sessions that were available to learners with disabilities. She's helped us to develop our improver swimming sessions to the extent that we've now got more coaches working with our improvers than we had at the beginning. She supported us with the Goga in Fife programme, which was opening up learner opportunities for people with severe and complex needs. And she's helped us with the inclusive swimming programme that Fife Sports and Leisure Trust is fiercely proud of delivering throughout Fife. A very worthy champion of this year and a great friend to Disability Sport Fife and all our coaches. Many, many thanks to Lee Cunningham, Aquatics Manager, Fife Sports and Leisure Trust. Our next award. We created the Goga Award just a couple of years ago, first award winner was Stephen Anderson. Our second award winner was Pamela Robson. I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered for that one. And this year's winner is Adam Falls. Now, there's a lot of people just going to sit back and say, undoubtedly a very, very worthy winner. Adam Falls epitomises everything that Goga was all about. He believes passionately in inclusive activity. He's a walk leader with the Bumps Off Seats programme. He encourages all our members to get involved and be active. And during lockdown, he's been particularly active himself. He's been out. We've seen video clips of what he's been doing in his garden during lockdown. When he attends our sessions that he supports during the week as a peer mentor volunteer, he's the first person to volunteer to take the kit down, to put the kit out, to clear up afterwards, to go and volunteer to support somebody with severe and complex needs during the cool down and the warm up. He's an exceptional young man in every sense of the word, massively popular within our movement. The Goga in Fife Volunteer of the Year is Adam Falls. And I'll have to blank that slip out for Pamela Robson, will be chasing me. Service to Sport Award, a very important award within our organisation. Last year's winner was Brian Herd, who worked with Robert Guff Centre and then East Fife Community Support Services. And by coincidence, this year's award winner has the same pedigree, and he's John Collins. He gets the Steve Donnelly Award. His service to our movement has been quite phenomenal. When he was a member of staff at the Robert Guff Centre, he was a very passionate supporter of his athletes and his bowlers in particular. He is a very, very keen, enthusiastic bowler himself, and using the Windygates Bowling Club, he's brought on a significant number of our bowlers with severe and complex needs and with learning difficulties, and prepared them for engagement within Team Fife. He's always willing to support us. If we're running an event, he's there marking from start to finish. But he really excels now. He's one of our most valued team managers and manages the 5 teams that compete in national championships. So a very worthy winner of our Service to Sport award this year in the name of the late Steve Donnelly is John Collins. Please show your appreciation. Now, Ambassador of the Year, we are nearing the end of our presentations for this year. This is a very important award in our program, which recognises somebody from our partner member organisations who have championed the cause of disability sport Fife. Our movement is strong because of the great champions that we have, and it recognises very often people in a leadership role. And our winner this year is the principal teacher in the Department for Pupils with Additional Support Needs at Woodmill High School. The award is in the name of the late Alec Thorburn, who was the treasurer of our organisation. The award was won by Isla Lumsden and Anne-Marie McMorran, who was also from the Education Services Department, and Janice is the third winner, Janice Graves. Woodmill High School is one of our most enthusiastic member organisations. Their pupils excel in swimming, in track and field, in football, in all sports. They're part of our academy football programme, they're part of our academy badminton programme. They sign up for everything that comes their way. They had a tremendous representation at our tennis festival last year. Now, all this happens first and foremost because they've got an exceptional staff team, and all these smiley faces that you see in that picture are these that devoted staff team, and one standout in there is Jackie O'Neill. But all of that would not happen without the leadership and the support that's given by the person at the top within the department. Woodmill High School has gone through an enormous amount. We all know that the school sadly experienced a tragic fire, and the pupils have moved out to a temporary accommodation, but it has not stopped this school from being involved in our movement. I just do not know how they've managed to do it. It's happened simply because the leadership shown by Janice has been of the highest quality, and the support that she gives to her pupils and their staff. A very worthy Ambassador of the Year and many years has been Janice Graves. Congratulations, Janice. Please show your appreciation. Our final award is goes to the Member Organisation of the Year, and one might say, I am not surprised, and rightly so. We have had some incredible organisations supporting us over the years, some standout mainstream clubs, some standout organisation, and this is a really, really tough award to win. But it goes without saying that it was only a matter of time that this particular swimming club was going to be awarded the Member Organisation of the Year award. And I'm delighted to say that Susan Taylor, who's the new head coach of the club, I think is listening in. She certainly signed up, and hopefully she's there. And also Ed O'Brien, who is the new president of the club, is listening in. But they should be fiercely proud indeed of the history of Carnegie Swimming Club with Disability Sport 5. John Saranek, down at the bottom left there, was a National Coach of the Year, and he was the Carnegie head coach at one time. But this particular club has been inclusive from day one. They have always supported athletes who in fact show commitment and determination. Those athletes are not treated any differently from any other club athlete, and most athletes have blossomed under their stewardship and leadership. Craig Rodgie, who is the only Paralympian to date from the club. He was a Paralympian through the Edinburgh University Club, but he was a very active member of the Carnegie Club in his time. This little group of young people here were the recent stars at the British Championships, and Kerry Spencer-Scott down in the bottom left-hand corner, who was out through injury at that particular time, but they have shown they're the most recent ambassadors of the club. Ollie Carter, who we heard of earlier on in the programme, is one of the leading athletes, swimmers in the UK at the present time, and he served his apprenticeship with the Carnegie Club and got off to a tremendous start there. On poolside, the great Kay Maxwell, we see there, and we see Lucy Walcott on poolside, and Stephen Hogan, who similarly was an incredibly successful and very committed member of our organisation. And these three are just three of the individuals that are on poolside, along with Cara Smythe, who's also on the poolside at the club. So we're very proud of the number of DSF members that have qualified through the Scottish swimming structure and are now on the poolside at Carnegie. A very, very worthy winning member organisation for 2020. Please show your appreciation for Carnegie Swimming Club. Now, just before we sign off, and Mark is going to open up the mics, and you can make as much noise as you possibly can. You can show your applause for all the athletes, please, that have won awards this evening, and for the many other athletes in our movement who contribute to our movement throughout the year. Please show your appreciation for everybody. Mics, you can make as